everyone hearing me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Is everyone hearing me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Let me know if you're hearing me. Please. Yep. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Let's say hello. We got Jojo. Welcome in, Jojo. All right. Hey, Prof, and everyone. Carol is in the house. Welcome in, Carol. Hi, Prof. Hope all is well. Yes. Paradox. Welcome in, Paradox. Louise. Welcome in, Louise. Noe. Welcome in. All right, Noe. Everyone in the Lurker crew, please join the chat. All right. Bonnie. Welcome in, Bonnie. And Carol. Welcome in, Carol. All right. Everyone else in the chat, I can't say hi to you if you're not in the chat. So everyone lurking, what's up? All right. Thank you. Let's see. We got all right. Good. Please hit the like when you're coming in. Please hit the like. Please join the chat and say hello to your fellow YouTube viewers. And thank you for letting me know that you hear me. So today we will be taking a look at the Frank's Memorandum. Now this will be a multi-part stream because it's too much to go through in one sitting. So we will go through as much as we can bear, and then we will be trying another stab at it in another week or two. So we'll be rotating through like that. Every week, maybe we'll go through one until we get to the end, and then that's how that'll be. Please give me a moment. Okay, I am sorry about that. I had some things to do. Listen, like I was saying, we are going to take a stab at it, but it will take several streams to take care of it. Okay, it will take several attempts to get through all 136 pages, but we will, and that's what we will be doing. What up, K West? Welcome in. Uh, yeah, you see little bitch boy in the chat. So here's what I got to say. Oh man, you monkeys are very, very funny. You're very, very funny. I've asked you so many times to stop your shit, and since you won't, you're gonna learn too. So you may have already learned a little something the past day or two, but you keep it up, you're gonna learn. Um, and this little bitch in the chat, YouTube plug. Yeah, don't worry, I'm not gonna remove you. I'm not gonna remove you. I'm gonna let Noe take care of you. I know who you are. Thomas Frost is butt hurt right now. Little Tommy Frost, the little Tommy Titty Knockers, little bitch boy Tommy Frost. He's a little butt hurt right now. Uh, so he's stalking me. He's stalking me, harassing me. He went till like 4 in the morning and 5 in the morning, whatever. And it's been all day. So everything's being documented. Don't worry, Tommy, little Tommy Titty Knockers. Lover boy, lover boy, lover boy, incel, Tommy Homo Frost. Keep your shit up, bro. Keep it up. Yeah, get him, Coach Cruz. Yep, till 5 in the morning. That's okay. Everything's being documented. There's no way you're going to be able to backtrack it when we get to court. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Coach Kev's a punk. I mean, we already knew that, but I guess he decided to go all out with it. So that'll be funny too. Um, but you see how they're coming in the chat because they're all butt hurt. See, what happened is Joe and I got on some shit that's triggering to these monkeys. Okay, these little flying monkeys. All of the ones that are entering the chat right now because obviously I got the foot on the nuts. So you got the foot on the nuts, they can't handle it. So you know, hey, you little bitches should have stayed quiet because I told you if you keep your shit up, there will be consequences, and you don't believe it. So unfortunately, I have to work on gathering documents. So that's the way that is. Little fucking flying monkeys, but yeah, keep stalking and harassing, and just be forewarned. I'm not in your channels following you around. You're coming into mine and following me around. So that will have a direct effect on the consequences you will face for your actions. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna take a little time right here to get into the things they don't want us to talk about. Here's the deal. These little fuckers, uh, they don't want us talking about these 136 pages, which is why they came up with a plot to ruin it. Okay, they came up with a plot to pull these 136 pages out of the case here, and they're a little upset that it hasn't worked yet. So we'll be looking at this because this is what they don't want us. They want us distracted talking about them instead of talking about this. So yeah, that's how it is. There's these people are. Well, you'll be finding out. You'll be seeing because I've asked them. I've asked them to stop because I'm sure they don't want me to talk about them. Yeah. But yeah, these are the same idiots. Okay, we're talking about Snay, Tommy Frost, Chris Long, Jinx, Bossy. Okay, so here's the thing with these assholes. Uh, they say I faked my trip, but I provided nothing but proof. Uh, and there's a whole lot of proof I haven't posted. But it's strange behavior from adults. But you see how they come in? They're all triggered. So the funniest thing is this. Joe started talking about Becky Patty. They all came in, okay, and they called his mother a whore, said he raped his mother's cunt, all kind of things that are crazy, right? Uh, then everyone in the chat started talking positive about Meow. Then they came back in with the gaslighting and the lies, and it's just so obvious. It's like, yeah, of course, the things you don't want us to talk about, you act like fucking morons. So the whole little gimmick, I'm not even going to address it, but look, you don't want us talking about these 136 pages either. So that's what we'll be. All right, so I'm sorry about that again. Listen up. Yeah, I hope I released a couple little videos regarding the troll farm. These very same idiots in here, Jinx, Bossy, Thomas, Chris Long, Fig, Alex Voorhees, the whole little fucking ruckus rocks. But anyway, I released a couple videos, and there are more coming. There are more coming, so they don't want to stop their shit. So more will be coming. More will continue to come. The more shit they talk, then the more receipts I'm going to drop, because I've told you guys before I've dropped 10%, which means there's 90% I'm withholding. And every time these little idiots pull their shit, then there will be another drop. So there's another drop on deck. And anyway, for another place, another time, because this is a time to talk about things that matter using YouTube. So yeah, hope you guys don't mind being arrested either. It's coming. But let's get started. Let's get started. I'm going to try to read this from my tablet here, because it will be better on my eyes this time, and we will try to keep the I'll try to keep the page turning proper, because I know I've had some issues with the page turning. All right. Oh, see, little Tommy Frost he's now, since I kicked him out of here, he's in the comments harassing me. I'm getting notifications in the comments harassing me. Keep on, Tommy Frost. I've asked you many times. It's all documented, and all of your harassment and bullying is documented. And I don't know how you're going to do this. I don't know how you're going to do this, Tommy Frost. Anyway, let's get on. So, Frank's memo, 136 pages. Okay, we're going to go through it. Yes, all 136 pages, but we're going to do it in installments. So tonight is our first installment, and we're going to go through slowly, leisurely, and enjoy it. Oh yeah, thank you, Louise. Before we get started, the beautiful Louise is adding her valuable input here, which is amazing. They are responsible for the leak where a person took his life and they are still fucking around. Yes, poor Mr. Robert Fortson, who is now dead. You know, your friend Tommy, you and your friend, you and Mark Robert Cohen, and old Chris Long, and old Ruckus Rocks, and old Dickie Snay, all you guys fucked around and a man is dead and you're still fucking around. Okay. Not only that, the FBI has been working on this. We know the state police is working on this, and you guys continue to fuck around. And we've told you, we've begged you to stop for your own good. I mean, it's for your own good. One day you're going to realize that this was for your own good. Stop. No one's going to your channels fucking with you. You're pursuing us all around the digital space. Well, there's laws for that. There's laws for that. And the biggest laws and the best laws are the federal laws, and there are laws for that. And what you guys are doing, there's paper trails. Okay, so we've asked you many times, and you know, you must understand that. And in all the years I worked as in the schools, you see, one thing with accountability with students is you give it to them. You know, you tell them this is how it is. You know, this is the expectation. This is the consequence, and then you give them several opportunities to self-correct, and you work with them. And that's what we've been doing. We've been extremely patient, and I haven't released anything detrimental to you guys very much. I've been very patient and very kind, and I've asked you to stop many times, and I keep saying, like, you want to stop for your own good. And not only that, every time you do what you've been doing, yes, Homeland Security is involved. Thank you, Louise. Thank you, Louise. Yeah, every time you continue to do what you're doing, you must understand that there will be consequences later. So, like I said, there's another video on deck, and this one will be a great one. You guys are going to learn all about the stalking behavior of these three, of Chris Long, Tommy Frost, and Courtney Barris. Not only that, Farley, Karen Way. Okay, you're going to learn all about this group's stalking behaviors with verified receipts and proof. Not only that, we're going to discuss it after the fact. So all of this that's been happening, we begged you to stop. We really have. And the more you push, the more you're going to find out that there are consequences to your actions. So we're going to get into reading this because this is the most important thing that okay, as far as this investigation into the Delphi murders and the public discussion and the process that we're engaged upon with the court system right now, these 136 pages are the most important thing that exist. Okay? Yes, and Mr. Winston Long will receive communications from us. We have a legal team that is working on a packet for Mr. Winston Long, commissioner in Carmel, Indiana. He's going to learn of all the things his son has been doing to a handful of individuals on YouTube with receipts. And he's going to learn that his son is also ruining his brand, not only the Indie Archive brand, but the media company and the legacy of one Mr. Winston Long, commissioner of Carmel, police commissioner. So we've asked you to stop because we don't want you to ruin your brand. We don't want you to have legal troubles. And let it continue. Okay. So we're going to look at page 1. Now, what I like to do, because I'm a very thorough person, we're going to look at every single thing. Okay. And once we're through the entire 136 pages, then we'll get into discussion. And it may be a month from now for that to transpire because it's going to be a lengthy process. But here we go. We're going to get started with this tonight. So what you'll see is, okay, we're at page 1, and I'm going to try to keep up with the page turning, I promise. So notice first thing, the filing date. We're looking at 9/18/2023, 2:06 a.m. Okay, what's the first thing we notice about that? about the 9/18. Okay, that's September 18th. Anyone in the chat? Anyone in the chat? What do we notice about September 18th? All right, I'll just keep moving on. Here we go. September, before the October 4th and 5th disaster, right? This predated the intentional nuclear bomb set off by Mr. Mark Robert Cohen, by Mr. Tommy Frost, by Mr. Dickie Smallball Snee, and Mr. Ruckus Rocks, and everyone else in the discords and the Facebook messengers that caused this disaster. This was prior to that, and this was possibly and most probably the reason for that disaster. Okay, we know what you did. So here we're going to go. So 9/18/2023, 2:06 a.m. Okay, another odd thing, right? 2:06 a.m. So we're going to read the pertinent parts, and what I'll do as we go through these documents, I'll be skipping things that just for the sake of brevity. Okay. But we'll start with the introduction. Because the facts in this memorandum are dense for anyone not yet completely familiar with this case, the defense is providing this introductory section, similar to the syllabus that often precedes a long and complex U.S. Supreme Court opinion. The purpose of this introductory section is to provide the court a general understanding of what to expect concerning the facts upon which the defense will be relying, and how those facts impact legal arguments. Before providing the necessary detail, minutia, and notation to the record that could bog down the court as it attempts to unpack the defense arguments, the defense, therefore, will provide little attribution as to the source of the evidence in this introductory section, but will then provide proper attribution to the sources of the evidence through the body of this memorandum following the introduction. Okay, so that's pretty clear. We're going to have an introduction, and it's very interesting here what is said, because they refer to this as dense in facts. Okay, they say because the facts in this memorandum are dense. So facts are dense. It's dense with facts. Facts are dense. Dense fact density here. We have this introduction here, so we'll continue. Okay, so now we're going to go to page 2. Okay, I'm going to really blaze through this table of contents, because I think the way that learning happens and goes is that as we go through this table of contents, it's almost a summary in and of itself, you know. So let's read through this table of contents and kind of try to glean some sort of ideation here and visualization of what is being presented. Okay. Okay. 8 things to know. Odinism, Odinites and runes. Failure to pursue the Odinites' links. Odinites in Westville Correctional Facility guarding Richard Allen. Liggett concealed certain witness testimony and falsified other witness testimony in order to prevent Liggett's bogus timeline from being exposed to Judge Diener. Evidence supporting these facts were needles in a giant haystack of discovery. 5-part breakdown of the memorandum. And let's refresh. 8 things to know. Odinism, Odinites, and runes. Okay. Failure to pursue Odinite links. Odinites in Westville Correctional Facility guarding Richard Allen. Liggett concealed certain witness testimony and falsified other witness testimony in order to prevent Liggett's bogus ass timeline from being exposed to Diener. Evidence supporting these facts were needles in a giant haystack of discovery. 5-part breakdown. Part 1, the crime scene. Part 2, evidence that connects Odinites to the murders. What is Odinism? The 12-page Odin report. Greg Ferenczi was assassinated in front of the FBI office. Brad Holder's connections. Holder's alibi was not even close to fully vetted. Nothing to see here. Holder had an alibi. Please look at the next suspect. Elvis Field's connection to the crime scene. Spittle. The Rob Abrams problem. The phone problem. Patrick Westfall's connection to the crime scene. Patrick Westfall. Johnny Messer's connection to the crime scene. Rod Abrams' connection to the crime scene. Conclusions. Odinites in Westville. Oh, got to turn the page. See, I'm already blazing way too far. Okay. Odinites in Westville. Sergeant Robertson, Sergeant Jones. Richard Allen has no ties to Odinism or any religious cult and has no ties to the crime scene. Okay. 8 things to know. I suggest that you put this down and just listen, because I know you can't see very well on your screen, but if you want to read along, you can go find it various places online. But here we go. 8 things to know. Overwhelming evidence in this case supports the following. 1. Members of a pagan Norse religion called Odinism, hijacked by white nationalists, ritualistically sacrificed Abigail and Liberty German. Okay. Okay, so remember, we're hearing a summary here, or a brief introduction. Number 2, very early on, those in charge of the Delphi murder investigation claimed that they consulted with a Purdue professor concerning what resembled possible Odinism signatures left behind at the crime scene. After the Purdue professor proclaimed, according to State Trooper Jerry Holman, that it was not Odinism or any type of cult worshiping or any type of group that would have conducted the crime, the Odinism angle was essentially abandoned. However, as of September 7, 2023, September 7, remember, before the leak disaster, the nuclear bomb on the defense of Richard Allen, the leaders of the Delphi investigative team claim that they can't identify who this purported professor was, have provided no reports from this purported professor, and 3, have further indicated that they may never be able to figure out who this professor is. Based in large part upon this mystery Purdue professor's opinion, the Delphi investigative leadership claimed that it essentially abandoned considering Odinite involvement in the murders. And then the years passed, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22. Thankfully, during those passing years, law enforcement officers Kevin Murphy, Greg Ferenczi, rest in peace, and Todd Click continued to pursue the truth. Kevin Murphy, Greg Ferenczi, and Todd Click continued to pursue the truth. Because of their curiosity and investigative efforts, the evidence establishing the names of the likely murdering members of this Odinite cult became known to the Delphi investigative leadership no later than February of 2018. February 2018 is 1 year after the murders. So within 1 year, this was known. Due to either incompetence or concerted intentionality, i.e. corruption, those in charge of the investigation refused to arrest or even properly investigate those obvious suspects. On May 1st, 2023, the state of Indiana, by way of Nick McClellan, received a letter from Rushville Assistant Police Chief Todd Click, now retired. As stated in the previous paragraph, Click, Murphy, and Ferenczi were 3 of the law enforcement officers who worked on the Delphi murder case, particularly focused on the Odinite angle as it intersected with the suspects in Rushville, Indiana. After reading Richard Allen's probable cause affidavit, Click became concerned that the information contained in Richard Allen's affidavit, pointing the finger at Richard Allen, was far less compelling than the totality of the information that Detective Ferenczi, Detective Murphy, and Officer Click had accumulated during the Rushville portion of the investigation. The information that Murphy, Ferenczi, and Click had gathered during their investigation connected men who practiced Odinism in or near Delphi with another group of men who lived in Rushville, and then connected both groups of men to the murders. Click was concerned that for some reason, the leadership of the investigative team had failed to share with Prosecutor McClelland the evidence gathered by Click, Ferenczi, and Murphy. Click's concerns led him to seek out a lawyer to assist him in the drafting of a letter. The letter was then sent to McClelland. Okay, and that letter will be Exhibit 3. This letter was not provided to the defense until after it was obvious from the last round of depositions that the defense, who had doggedly pursued the witnesses as far away as Georgia, would certainly be talking with Todd Click. McClelland had this letter in his possession for over 4 months before turning it over to the defense. There can be no mistaking this letter is exculpatory in nature and could have been used by the defense as it prepared for upcoming depositions. However, it is apparent that McClelland only offered up the letter after it was obvious that the defense team would soon be learning of the letter's existence. In other words, defense team would obviously be meeting with or deposing Click in the next few weeks. At that time, Click most certainly would then reveal to the defense that in April 2023, he had sent a letter containing exculpatory information to McClelland. At this point, McClelland had two distinct choices. One, sit on exculpatory evidence, hoping that the defense team would refocus its efforts on another angle of the investigation, or two, disclose the exculpatory evidence, claiming that the contents of the letter were overlooked in the volume of discovery. Sounds like an excuse. Yeah, it's an excuse. He chose the latter. Unfortunately for the state, neither approach explains away the fact that Click specifically directed the letter to McClelland himself. Further, Click was so determined to ensure his information was consumed by McClelland that he directed the information directly to McClelland via certified mail. This letter is stamped May 1, 2023, Carroll County Prosecutor received. Click's report landed at Ground Zero, a prosecutor's office with no more than 2 full-time prosecutors and a handful of full-time staff members at best. Could this exculpatory evidence have been completely overlooked? Not plausible. Not only did the prosecution withhold the letter from the defense, but law enforcement also withheld several other exculpatory pieces of evidence, including an 85-page compilation of reports by Click prepared in 2019, and several videos containing statements that support the defense theory of Richard Allen's innocence. This 85-page report detailed the investigative work performed by Click, Ferenczi, Murphy, and others, including the FBI. According to the summary of Click's investigation that he attached with his letter, the behavioral analysis unit of the FBI determined that the individual responsible for the homicides were involved in Nordic beliefs. This was news to the defense, as no member of the unified command in charge of the investigation had revealed this information to the defense during recent depositions. This includes Trooper Holman, who told the defense that he didn't remember if the FBI's BAU unit determined one way or the other whether those with Nordic beliefs had been involved with the murders. At least up until the time of this filing, the prosecution has provided no evidence whatsoever of the findings of the FBI's BAU unit concerning the involvement of Odinists in the murders. The letter that Click sent to McClelland was the first that the defense has heard that the FBI actually believed that Odinists were likely involved. In other words, this report contained exculpatory evidence that Unified Command concealed from the defense. This information was and is crucial for Richard Allen's defense. Some of this exculpatory evidence in the form of videos was finally released to the defense on December 8, 2023. Less than a month before the leaks. Less than a month. Over 9 months after the defense counsel had entered their appearance. The defense is still reviewing the September 8th evidence dump. In the brief time the defense has had to review this newly received evidence, it has found exculpatory evidence both in the videos the defense has watched and the documents that the defense has reviewed. While the prosecution has been holding on to this exculpatory evidence, Richard Allen has been living in hell. Lastly, the evidence will show that the week of August 28, 2023, Prosecutor McClelland and State Trooper Jerry Holman requested a meeting with Todd Click. By the time the defense had taken several dispositions, including Holman, Liggett, and Lesenby, and the prosecution and Delphi investigative leadership now knew for a while the defense team had been aware of the Odinist evidence. At least the evidence that the prosecution turned over to the defense scattered throughout multiple hard drives and many flash drives. The prosecution had learned in early August that the defense had figured out the strong Odinist ties to the crimes. Despite their apparent attempts and the attempts of the prosecution, Liggett and Holman to hide this exculpatory information from the defense. Wanting to allay his fears that an innocent man was sitting in Westville, Click agreed to attend the meeting with Holman, hoping that he would be learning that evidence did in fact exist linking Richard Allen to the murders. Click's hopes were dashed. Paragraph 17 of Click's affidavit states, "Upon directing the letter to McClelland, I heard nothing from the prosecutor's office and or any other members of the Unified Command until I received phone calls on August 23rd and August 25th of 2023, which involved brief discussions regarding scheduling. During these phone calls, it was requested that I meet with Trooper Holman during the week of September 4, 2023. I was informed that law enforcement officials intended to sit down with me and discuss with me the reason why Richard Allen was responsible for the crimes. I was told that Jerry Holman wanted to put my mind at ease. However, during the meeting with Detective Holman and a second detective whose name I am unfamiliar with, there was no discussion or offerings as to why they believe Richard Allen was guilty of the charged crimes. I believe the interview was an attempt by them to clean up their loose ends, knowing that they had given very little, if any, attention to the investigative efforts of myself, Detective Ferenczi, rest in peace, and Detective Murphy. Not only did Carroll County Sheriff Liggett fail to include all this Odinite information in his October 13 affidavit for a search warrant, and not only did McClelland and the Unified Command withhold exculpatory evidence, Liggett also concealed damaging witness statements that devastate Liggett's timeline. Let's read that again. This deserves to be read again. Not only did Carroll County Sheriff Tony Liggett fail to include all this Odinite information in his October 13th, 2022 affidavit for a search warrant, and not only did McClelland and the Unified Command withhold exculpatory evidence, but Liggett also concealed damaging witness statements that devastate his own timeline. A timeline that Liggett needed to be true in order to place Richard Allen at the trails when Abby and Libby were allegedly abducted. Additionally, Liggett lied in his affidavit about the statements of another key witness. We'll be getting to that. Further devastating his timeline. There was no Muddy and Bloody. Hello? Richard Allen has zero connections to any pagan cult or pagan cultist, unless he sold dope to him. And furthermore, no forensic evidence such as DNA or electronic evidence links Richard Allen to the girls or to the crime scene. That is, he is a completely innocent man, allegedly. Pardon me. Most of the evidence backing these assertions was found scattered over no less than 10 hard drives and several flash drives provided by the prosecution, meaning that the defense is not making wild accusations, but rather primarily relaying facts and information that is backed up by the prosecutor's own discovery, even discovery that the prosecution just provided to the defense as late as September 8, 2023. And then less than a month later, you fuckers created a huge leak disaster. Yes, those same ones of you who are colluding right now to attack all of us on this side. And protecting the family, who behaves extremely suspiciously 24/7 for the past 6.5 years. Not coincidentally, members, i.e., Odinists of this same pagan cult, are employed as correctional officers for the Indiana Department of Corrections at Westville Correctional Facility. It is inside of the cold concrete walls of the maximum security unit of this dilapidated reformatory that Richard Allen, an innocent man, not yet proven guilty, not yet given due process, is being threatened, intimidated, and mentally and possibly physically abused. Throughout this document, references are made to the Unified Command. Essentially, the Unified Command was the leadership of the Delphi murder investigation. Yeah, leadership of Corruption Central. According to Tony Liggett, Carroll County Sheriff and a member of the Unified Command when the investigation began, Unified Command consisted of law enforcement from a variety of entities, local, state, and federal. Unified Command were overseers of the entire investigative operation, or coordinators of the cover-up. According to Liggett, the members of the Unified Command were and are Tony Liggett and Kevin Hammond from Carroll County, Jerry Holman, Jay Harper, and David Vito from State Police, Indiana State Police, ISP. Are you guys corrupt? Rich Davies from the FBI. Although State Police Superintendent Doug Carter pulled the plug and kicked the FBI off the Delphi murder case around 2021 over some conflicts, according to Holman, interestingly, Liggett claimed under oath that Doug Carter was not involved in making decisions for the case. Furthermore, he claimed to be unaware that the FBI was even kicked out, let alone that any agency had actually kicked out the FBI from investigating the Delphi case. It is quite odd that the salient topic of Doug Carter kicking the FBI off the Delphi case would never have been discussed between Liggett and Holman, who were working so closely with another Unified Command, with one another and with an FBI agent. If that can be believed, it would be quite perplexing. Odinism, white supremacist Norse pagans, and runes. Odinism is the pagan religion referenced above, and its followers are called Odinites. Odinites are little sissy faggot boys, pardon my language, that are enamored of Viking Nordic culture. Once they get off of their video games in mommy's basement, they go outside and play pretend. Evidence supports that at the crime scene, these murdering Odinites left behind obvious signatures, symbols in the form of runes. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, runes are any characters of any several alphabets used by the Germanic peoples from about the 3rd to the 13th centuries. Germanic alphabets. These runes were formed by sticks or with sticks, fashioned with tree branches, and painted using blood. Sticks and tree branches were deliberately, carefully, and proficiently placed on each girl in a certain arrangement, mimicking certain runes. Or at least they have the appearance of mimicking certain runes. At least one of the branches appeared to have its end cut off cleanly by some type of tool, like an electric saw. What the fuck? Providing proof of a preconceived plan. Additionally, the blood of L. German was used as paint to mark a tree with a rune that looks similar to letter F. Many runes look like the letter F, including this one, which, among other things, stands for Odin or God. With the simple Google search, these runes would be identifiable as one of the many calling cards of this pagan white supremacist religious cult. Yet law enforcement in charge of the Delphi investigation seemingly and quickly abandoned the obvious correlation between the crime scene and the murdering white supremacist Norse pagan freaks. Despite an obscene amount of evidence linking these freaks to the crime scene, and even in spite of powerful evidence linking specific Odinites in and around Indiana to the murders, all of which was in the discovery which was provided to the defense, where all of this is coming from. Also, the court will learn in his affidavit for search warrant that Sheriff Liggett failed to inform Diener that nothing, absolutely nothing, links Richard Allen to Odinism or any religious cult. Also, no forensics, such as DNA. No electronic data extracted from his computers or phone or from his social media. Nothing links Richard Allen to the crime scene. Additionally, nothing links Richard Allen to any of the Odinite suspects. The same Odinite suspects that evidence strongly supports sacrificed Abby and Libby in some sort of pagan ritual. Richard Allen had nothing to do with this crime, but rather is an innocent man, allegedly. A patsy for the police, allegedly. Arrested 26 days before an election and announced on October 31st an occult holiday. Failure to present the Odinist links. Law enforcement's failure to actively pursue the obvious links between the crime scene and Odinism is confounding. It is even more confounding when days and weeks after the murders, a particular Odinite from Logansport named Brad Holder, father of the boyfriend of one of the victims, posted on his social media images mimicking the very runes found at the crime scene. A crime scene unreleased and unknown to the general public even to this day. Who was Brad Holder? He was an Odinite whose son, Logan Holder, had been dating Abby. Brad Holder's social media posts seemingly taunted the very police that refused to fully investigate him. The defense believes that the court will be shocked at the number of clues or Easter eggs, both before and after the murders, that Holder openly posted on his Facebook page that pointed the finger to his involvement in the murders. And it's all documented. We got it all. A lot of it is still there. You know, law enforcement had it all. However, a fact that is simply mind-blowing to the defense is that Brad Holder was never considered a suspect. Let's read that again. A fact that is simply mind-blowing to the defense is that Brad Holder was never considered a suspect in the murders of Abby and Libby. Holman, one of the law enforcement officers in charge of organizing and investigating the Delphi murders, claimed in his August 10, 2023 deposition that Holder was not really ever a suspect. Police reports written near the time of the murders reveal that Holman is telling the truth. Brad Holder was cleared as a suspect quickly on March 16. March 16. Remember, just prior to March 16, the search at Ron Logan's. Logan was the main suspect. So instead of looking at Holder, they're looking at Logan. As a matter of fact, on March 1st, 2017, just prior to Logan's PCA, Liggett stated in a report that there were no leads required concerning Brad Holder, meaning that it was not necessary for the law enforcement to continue to look for leads related to Holder. Liggett made the determination a mere 15 days after the girls were murdered. 2 weeks. By March 16, Unified Command member Kevin Hammond wrote that Holder has been cleared. The girls hadn't been dead for 30 days, and Unified Command had already cleared Brad Holder as a suspect. Unified Command had already cleared Holder as a suspect within 30 days, knowing that Holder's son dated Abby. Unified Command had already cleared Holder as a suspect within 30 days of the murders, although a simple review of Holder's Facebook page would show that he was a proud Odinite that had an absolute obsession and fascination with runes and runes made with sticks in the woods. Police knew or had to know that the runes had been left at the crime scene. That runes had been left. Additionally, Unified Command had already cleared Holder as a suspect in spite of the fact that the runes found on Holder's Facebook page mimicked the runes found at the crime scene that had not been released to the public. The investigation had barely begun, but the Unified Command had already cleared the very man that any person with even a small amount of common sense or curiosity would believe was a strong candidate for being involved in the murder of the girls, or at least a suspect. For example, the court will also learn that Unified Command was aware of a very disturbing image on Holder's social media accounts that actually mimicked the crime scene. Oh yeah, let's talk about that one. A very disturbing image on his social media accounts that actually mimicked the crime scene. On April 12, 2017, Trooper Winters received a phone call from a man in Georgia named Ryan Boucher, who had discovered disturbing images in Brad Holder's social media account. Having somehow learned that Holder's son Logan had dated Abby, Mr. Boucher began reviewing Brad Holder's social media history. One of those images Boucher reviewed on Brad Holder's social media account was an image of two women either dead or posed as if they were dead on the ground in what appeared to be a forest. Both women had tree limbs and sticks arranged on their bodies. One of the women had her arm stretched out above her head, similar to the way that Libby's arm was stretched out above her head. Both women were clothed, and the stick and tree branch formations on these girls was different than the stick and tree branch formations on Abby and Libby, but otherwise, It bore a very eerie similarity to the murder scene in Delphi. Ryan Boucher had no knowledge of the actual crime scene. However, after reviewing Brad Holder's social media sites, Boucher was disturbed at that image, as well as the other images that provided insight into Holder's fascination with runes. Believing that the disturbing images may somehow be of interest to those investigating the Delphi murders, Mr. Boucher contacted Lesenby, who at the time was the sheriff of Carroll County. Tobe Lesenby. Lesenby quickly rebuffed Boucher, telling Boucher that Holder was not a suspect. Undeterred, Boucher contacted the state police, where he ended up talking to Trooper Joseph Ryan Winters. After their conversation, Winters memorialized the interaction and placed the images provided by Boucher into a Dropbox account. After creating the report, Winters then discussed his findings face-to-face with Holman of the Unified Command. The body of this memorandum will provide details of that interaction. In his report, Winters requested law enforcement re-interview Brad Holder. The defense does not believe Unified Command ever followed up on Winters' request. It should be noted that the disturbing images found by Boucher in Georgia and placed in a Dropbox by Winters were not, and still have not, been provided to the defense. In his recent deposition, Winters said that he had attempted to locate the images but was unable. However, because of the potential importance of those images to Richard Allen's case, the defense team located Boucher and then traveled to Georgia to meet with Boucher. Those images are now in the possession of Richard Allen's defense team, who then provided those images to law enforcement. Again, those were important images that law enforcement failed to turn over to the defense. Instead, the defense located these images in Georgia and then turned them over to the very people who had the obligation to provide them to the defense. Unified Command, which included Liggett, who drafted the affidavit for search warrant, was fully aware of the mimicked crime scene on Brad Holder's social media, as well as other posts that mimicked the exact runes found at the crime scene, built with sticks in the woods. But he failed to do anything about it and failed to inform Judge Diener of this obvious suspect Holder and all of the evidence that existed against Holder, making him a prime suspect. The court will learn of the body of this memorandum that Holder was connected in the body of this memorandum. They will learn that Holder was connected to the crime scene, and to other men who had confessed to the crime. Oh yeah, that's a second connection there. The evidence of those connections will be provided in the body of the memorandum, okay? Including copies of the images found on Holder's Facebook page at the time of the investigation, which link Holder to the crime scene, as well as the images found by Ryan Boucher that law enforcement has failed to turn over to the defense. The defense will also attach what the defense calls the Winters report, which is the memorialization of Trooper Winters' interaction with Ryan Boucher. Liggett provided none of this information or evidence to Judge Diener, but rather allowed Judge Diener to believe that Richard Allen was the lone suspect in the murders, in spite of zero evidence linking Richard Allen to the crimes at the time Liggett sought a search warrant 26 days before an election. Unified Command's failure to vigorously pursue the obvious links between the crime scene and Odinism is even more perplexing when evidence known to law enforcement demonstrated a clear nexus between Brad Holder and at least 4 other suspects: Elvis Fields from Rushville, Patrick Westfall from Delphi, Johnny Messer from Rushville, and Rod Abrams from Rushville. Elvis Fields, Patrick Westfall, Johnny Messer, Rod Abrams. Unified Command was aware that Elvis Fields confessed to his sister that he was involved in the murders. Okay, we want to talk about confessions. Do we really want to talk about confessions? Do we really want to talk about Liggett falsifying information? Do we want to talk about unified command hiding information? Do we want to talk about Doug Carter not having any connection to unified command? Where's the FBI? Elvis Fields told his sister on February 14, guys, put your fucking thinking caps on. Put them on. February 14, 2017. What is that date? What is the date of February 14, 2017? Is this the very same day that the girls were found? The very same day? He told his sister that he was present at the killings and that he now had a brother and was part of a gang. A year later, February 2018, Elvis had been questioned by law enforcement but denied involvement in the murders. However, after being dropped off at his trailer following the questioning, Elvis turned around, walked back to the police car, and according to the police report, he says, if his spit is found on one of the girls, but he could explain it away, would he still be in trouble? The state trooper that heard Elvis utter these words, Kevin Murphy, was not part of Unified Command, but immediately relayed this disturbing question to Jay Harper of Unified Command. Okay? Elvis also admitted to a different sister that he had in fact spit on one of the girls. Elvis told Joyce, his sister, that he was on a trail and a bridge with two girls that were killed and that he was going away for a long time. Elvis's alibi for February 13 was also flawed. State troopers who weren't part of Unified Command determined that Elvis's roommate concocted a story concerning Elvis's whereabouts on February 13. This roommate is named Rod Abrams. Abrams told a story claiming on February 13, 2017, that he, Elvis Fields, and a man named Ned Smith were visiting a sick friend in Muncie. However, unfortunately for Rod Abrams, the story conflicted with the story that Elvis Fields told law enforcement as to his whereabouts on February 13, 2017. These shady alibis were relayed to Unified Command. These shady alibis will be further explained in the body of this memorandum, which we will get to later. Furthermore, Unified Command knew that on February 1st, 2018, Elvis's sister passed a polygraph exam when asked if she were telling the truth about what Elvis had confessed to her. Unified Command's failure to vigorously pursue these obvious links between the crime scene and Odinism is even more inexplicable when the evidence known to law enforcement included information about another Odinite. White supremacist Norse pagan freak, Patrick Westphal. Yeah, you know, Sleuth Intuition's best buddy. Patrick Westphal was living in Delphi, very close to the murder scene on February 13, 2017. Evidence known to Unified Command include the fact that fellow white supremacist Norse pagan freaks, Patrick Westphal and Brad Holder, were close friends as of January 21st, 2017. However, that friendship ended very abruptly in February 2017. The schism in the friendship resulted from a fight that occurred between Holder and Westphal in February, where Holder and Westphal were in the woods near a river conducting a ritual. One of them said or did something that the other did not agree with, and they no longer talked to each other. Geez, that sounds pretty heated. That sounds pretty emotionally dense. The river was near Patrick's house, who lived near the crime scene. An intoxicated Holder shared this disturbing information with his ex-wife, Amber. Amber Holder then relayed this disturbing information to law enforcement, who were not a part of Unified Command in 2019. These officers then relayed this disturbing information to Unified Command. Liggett concealed this information from Judge Diener. In 2019, Command learned that in a totally different conversation with his ex-wife, Holder pointed the finger away from himself and directly at Patrick Westphal, his friend, who lived near the crime scene, as being the person who was actually responsible for the murders of Abby and Libby. According to police reports, Holder told his ex-wife Amber that Westphal and his people, okay, key point, Westphal and his people, plural, killed Abby and Libby because one of their mothers was mixing with other people outside the mother's race. Holder told Amber Holder that Westphal and his people killed the girls because one of their mothers was mixing with other people outside of her race. Furthermore, Command was aware that Holder had told Amber that I can only protect you so much if you keep asking questions. Holder further told his ex-wife Amber that Patrick Westphal had many people backing him up and that Westphal also had powerful friends. Liggett knew of this information for more than 3 years before he sought the search warrant for Richard Allen by misrepresenting witness testimony and statements. Yet Liggett never shared that information with Diener. Additionally, Westphal provided a very weak alibi as to his whereabouts on February 13, 2017. Westphal told law enforcement that he was at home the afternoon of Monday, February 13. The defense is unaware of any search warrant that Liggett sought to enter Westphal's house or whether Unified Command instructed law enforcement to knock on a single neighbor's door to verify Westphal's alibi. Unified Command's failure to continually pursue the obvious links between the crime scene and Odinism is even more disturbing when evidence known to law enforcement included information about another Odinite, Johnny Messer from Rushville. Johnny was a recruiter for the Odinites and was also the connective tissue between the Odinites from Delphi, Brad Holder and Patrick Westphal, and the suspects from Rushville, Elvis Fields and Rod Abrams. Johnny Messer is the peanut butter in the sandwich. Delphi is 126 miles from Rushville. Law enforcement knew that Johnny Messer was friends with Holder and Patrick Westphal. Law enforcement also knew that Messer was acquaintances with Fields and Rod Abrams. Unified Command theoretically could claim and appear to be claiming that this connection is simply a bizarre coincidence. However, Unified Command not only knew that Elvis Fields and Rod Abrams and Brad Holder, Patrick Westphal shared a common acquaintance and the peanut butter in the sandwich, and that's Johnny Messer. But they also knew that Elvis Fields and Brad Holder followed each other on Facebook and even mimicked each other's Facebook pages, with Elvis Field actually recreating the photos that Holder's posted on his Facebook page. Shockingly, at his August 10, 2023 deposition, Unified Command member Holman stated that he did not even know who Messer was, nor what the evidence showed of Messer's possible role in the murders of Abby and Libby. It is additionally infuriating that Messer was cleared as a suspect in the murders when considering these facts. Johnny's ex-girlfriend, Taylor Hornady, told police that Messer and Westphal were like brothers. You know, the white supremacist Norse pagan freak type brothers. She also told police that she had allowed Johnny to borrow her car around Valentine's Day 2017, the day of the murders, and that Johnny drove her car up there to hang out with his Vinlander friends. Vinlanders are a white supremacist group consisting of Odinism, Brad Holder, Patrick Westphal, Johnny Messer. Okay? They were all affiliated with the Vinlanders. Johnny Messer's ex-girlfriend, Taylor Hornady, also claimed that all Vinlanders were also Odinists, and that Johnny Messer, Brad Holder, and Patrick Westphal were all members of Vinlanders. He took her vehicle on Valentine's Day to go up there to hang out with them. When he returned the vehicle, it had dried up blood over one side of it. Johnny Messer refused to discuss the details of how the blood got there. Johnny Messer's ex-girlfriend further stated that it took her several car washes to finally remove the fucking dried blood. Meanwhile, Messer has claimed that he never, not even once in his life, been to Delphi, the home of his brother, Patrick Westphal, and the home of his brother, Brad Holder. Messer's ex-girlfriend also told law enforcement that Brad Holder and Johnny Messer were two of the most violent people she knew and were fully capable of having been involved in the murders. Johnny Messer's ex-girlfriend further stated that a motive for their involvement in the murder of Abby and Libby might be the concept of blood in, blood out, which means social acceptance into their secret circles. Johnny Messer's ex-girlfriend further stated that a motive for their involvement in the murders could be the concept of blood in, blood out, which means social acceptance in their secret circles. All this information was relayed to Liggett and the Unified Command, yet Unified Command provided no guidance as to what to do to capitalize on this information in order to work towards solving these murders. Additionally, Unified Command learned that Messer's ex-girlfriend had been listening to and recording Messer's phone calls. Police secured the phone and listened to 3 phone calls involving Messer. In 2 of these phone calls, Messer was offering money to other people to find something so they can be injured or killed. Messer was offering money to other people to find someone so they can be injured or killed. Messer was offering money to other people to help find someone so they can be killed. The third call involves Messer bragging about holding a subject hostage and shooting them at his house. Unified Command said nothing to see here regarding Messer and issued no search warrants for his house. At least none have been disclosed to the defense. Nor did they attempt to utilize an age-old investigative tool referred to as an interrogation to pursue the truth about the involvement of Messer, Holder, and Westphal in these crimes. Many more shocking facts concerning this so-called investigation will be revealed in the body of the memorandum. And you wonder why they want this to go away? You wonder why this going away was worth sacrificing someone's life, Mr. Robert Fortson? making this go away was worth sacrificing the life of Mr. Robert Fortson. Odinites in the Westville Correctional Facility guarding Richard Allen. The evidence shows that during his pretrial incarceration at Westville, Richard Allen has been monitored, intimidated, and mentally abused by correctional officers who are also Odinists. Two of those officers are named Sergeant Robertson and Sergeant Robinson and Sergeant Jones. Robinson and Jones at Westville. These officers boldly wore patches on their DOC uniforms that proclaimed, "In Odin we trust," along with another patch displaying interlocking symbols of Odinism, interlocking triangles. Both of these Odinist correctional officers, Robinson and Jones, also displayed images of runes and other Odinist symbols on their Facebook pages. As recently as June 25th, 2023, for example, Sergeant Robinson openly displayed a photograph of his Odinite altar on his Facebook page. A similar altar can be found on the Facebook page of Brad Holder. Beginning at least on April 3, 2023, Sergeant Jones and Sergeant Robinson wore their Odin patches when the defense team visited Richard Allen. Yeah, you guys remember this. You guys remember that. You've seen the photos of these patches. One of these officers now has an Odinite rune tattooed on his face. However, Robinson and Jones's brazen displays of their Odinist patches came to an end on August 17. What changed? Why suddenly did they no longer display their Odin patches beginning on August 17? Because a warden told them clearly. It was not until August 10, the deposition of Trooper Holman, that Richard Allen's defense team finally revealed to Nick McClellan and to the Unified Command that for many months they had been fully aware of the strong evidence linking Odinism to the murders. Important point here. Okay? August 10. It was not until August 10 that Holman and the Unified Command, meaning the demons, they did not become aware that the defense was onto them and onto these Odinists until August 10. It was also August 10, the August 10 deposition of Holman, that Unified Command learned that Allen's defense team was not only aware of the information, but also intended to expose the linkage of Abby and Libby's murders to Odinism, and would also be revealing the names of the Odinists at trial. You know, Holder, Messer, Westfall, Fields. At that deposition, Holman and the prosecutor, Nick McClellan, also learned that the defense team obviously intended on exposing the Unified Command's failure in pursuing the Odinists. In spite of the powerful evidence of the Odinites involved in the murders, included in their own discovery. However, and it's important to note, at his August 10 deposition, Richard's defense team did not let Holman or anyone else know that it was fully aware of the Odinite corrections officers at Westville. Okay? So they kept the Westville piece under wraps for the time being. Good strategy. Allen's defense team's next visit with Richard Allen following the August 10 deposition occurred a week later, August 17. Curiously, or perhaps not so curiously, in those 7 days of the week, since the defense team revealed their knowledge that evidence linked Odinists to the murders, for the first time, Sergeant Robinson was no longer wearing his Odin patch. So Sergeant Jones was not present. Okay. So even though they don't mention Westville, this is really important to conceive of. Okay. They meet to depose Holman. They inform him that they know there's a connection to Odinism and Odinists. However, they leave out the piece about the facility. They keep that secret. However, yet, a week later, when they go to visit Alan, patches are gone. Patches are gone. Think about it. It was almost as if someone had alerted Odinite Robinson that the gig was up because the lawyers knew about the links to Odinism. So lose the patch and pray that the defense attorneys had never noticed the patches on prior visits. Unfortunately for Westville and Unified Command, Allen's defense team absolutely noticed the Odinite patches worn by the Sergeant Robinson and Jones at the beginning on April 3rd, 2023. Furthermore, his defense team absolutely noticed the conspicuous absence of Robinson's Odinite patches following Trooper Holman's realization that they were onto the connection between the murders and Odinism, as well as the failure of command to follow through on the evidence that linked the murders to Odinism. The court will also learn in the body of this memo that Sergeant Jones and Robinson were seemingly always by Richard Allen's side during most, if not every single visit. What do we have here? Normally, corrections officers were within earshot of every conversation between Richard and his attorneys, between Richard and his wife, close enough that Richard would be worried about any conversation with his attorneys and wife being overheard by these Odinite guards, Robinson and Jones. Beginning on April 3rd and for several visits thereafter, the Westville officers even videotaped attorney visits between Richard and his defense team. Most of the time, if not every time, it was Sergeant Jones or Robinson bringing the handheld camcorder to the visit. Corrections officers even required that Allen be positioned facing the window where the corrections officers were videotaping the attorney visits with the handheld camcorder. Think. They wanted to see his lips and his face. So they would not allow him to have his back turned to the camera and still catch the audio. They wanted to see his face, read his lips, record the audio of the attorneys. These same two who were always by his side. It is verified they wore those patches. It is verified. The positioning of Allen's body would allow the corrections officers to videotape Allen's mouth as he talked to his attorneys. Richard would therefore not be able to privately discuss anything with his attorneys, such as the guards telling me that my wife and family will be killed unless I call my wife and tell her that I killed those girls. To be clear, this statement was never made to his attorneys. The point is that Westville guards have made the privacy needed for Richard to have that type of private conversation with his attorneys very difficult and perhaps not worth the risk if you are Richard Allen. Instead, a mentally defective Richard Allen, a mentally defeated Richard Allen would continually mutter to his defense team at every visit these type of general questions. Is my wife alive? Is my family alive? Is my wife safe? Is my family safe? So think about it. Think about it. What is he saying to his attorneys when they visit? Is my wife alive? Is my wife safe? Is my family alive? Is my family safe? At one such meeting, Allen mumbled in a somewhat incoherent fashion that the Odinites were threatening him. It would be important to know that Allen's defense team had never mentioned the word Odinites or Odinism or informed Allen that evidence suggests that Odinites murdered Abby and Libby until August 25, 2023. Hold on a minute, please. One moment. Okay. Rick's defense team felt that having him remain unaware of this Odinist connection would keep him safer. Due to Rick's weakened mental state and the concern that he might unwittingly discuss his attorney's strategy to Sergeant Jones and Robinson, Rick's attorneys opted to not discuss Odinism with their client out of fear that Sergeant Robinson and Jones would then be on alert that Richard's defense team was aware of the Odinite involvement. Allen's defense team, pardon. Allen's defense team needed additional time to investigate and review evidence before feeling confident and comfortable in revealing their knowledge to the court of the strong evidence that Odinites murdered the girl and that Unified Command had chosen to do nothing about it, but in fact had hidden these facts from Judge Diener. Therefore, Richard's defense team opted to keep Richard in the dark about the Odinite connection to the murders supported by the evidence. This decision has been painfully and emotionally difficult for Rick's defense team, as the defense counsel recognized that while the defense took the necessary time to review the discovery and to establish the Odinist links both to the murders and to Westville Correctional Facility, the defense counsel was also aware that Rick would remain in his hellhole at Westville subject to the cruelty of Sergeant Jones and Robinson and perhaps other Odinite corrections officers. This was especially painful at the June 15, 2023 hearing to transport Rick to Cass County, as defense counsel knew at the time of the links between the murders and Odinism and Westville. Unfortunately, the defense counsel needed additional time to fully understand and verify the facts before leveling such accusations. Yes, it's called investigation. They were investigating this before they ran with it. Unfortunately, defense counsel needed additional time to fully understand and verify the facts. This is the reason that the defense tactically decided to keep its knowledge to itself rather than reveal that knowledge in an open court at hearing. Unified Command and the prosecution's hiding of exculpatory evidence is even more angering because the difficult strategic decisions could have been avoided had McClellan offered the exculpatory documents sooner. Perhaps then Allen would have filed for a speedy trial or would have been removed from Westville, as the defense would have been able to more fully inform the court about the facts of the case. Again, more detailed information concerning the Odinite corrections officers, as well as documentation supporting that information, will be provided later in the body of this memorandum. Liggett concealed certain witness testimony and falsified other witness testimony, lied, in order to prevent his bogus timeline from being exposed to Judge Diener. Beyond the shocking omissions concerning the pagan cults links to the murders and the fact that Odinists were also watching Richard Allen, the evidence will show that Liggett's affidavit for search warrant is also filled with lies, other concealed information concerning witness testimony. So Liggett's affidavit is filled with lies, misrepresentations, and other concealed information concerning the witness testimony. This false and concealed information completely eviscerates the state's timeline. The evidence will show that Liggett knew of the major problems that these witness testimonies created, and Liggett chose to solve the problem by lying and by concealing the information and falsifying other information in order to bolster the state's bogus timeline. That's why that PCA looked like the worst fucking PCA any law enforcement officer has ever seen that I've spoken with. I have interviewed several retired law enforcement officers who all say that that is the absolute worst fucking PCA that they've ever seen in their life. And now we know it is filled with lies, misrepresentations, and avoidance of facts. He twisted it to make it what he wanted. He piled on a bunch of garbage to make a bullshit sandwich. That's why the PCA does not make any sense and is hard to follow. It would have received the grade of F. It is not an A+ PCA. It is a D- F PCA. Ask any law enforcement officer who has handled hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of PCAs like I have. The evidence will show that Liggett concealed facts concerning descriptions that key witness Betsy Blair made to Liggett face-to-face in 2019. Here's what he lied about. 1, the person that she observed on the bridge, and 2, the vehicle that she observed at CPS parking lot. For Liggett's timeline to work and to place Richard Allen at the High Bridge at 2:13, the time of the famous down the hill, Liggett desperately needed Blair to describe a man on the bridge that looked like Allen, and furthermore desperately needed Blair to describe a car that she observed parked at CPS at 2:15 as looking like Richard Allen's black Ford Focus. But remember, it's not what we were given, was it? Suffice to say, the evidence will show that Liggett concealed from Judge Diener that Betsy Blair described a man on the bridge that looked nothing like Richard Allen. Nothing like Richard Allen. And described a car at CPS that looked nothing like his car, both in color and design. The evidence will show that Betsy provided these timeline-defeating descriptions directly to Liggett face-to-face 2 times in 2019. Yet Liggett failed to inform Judge Diener of these descriptions, as well as inform Diener of the fatal flaws that these missing descriptions created for the timeline. Welcome in, Jamel Hester. Welcome in. I see you coming in. Everyone in the chat, apologize, I'm not keeping up. Let me get through a little more of this, and we'll have our discussion with the chat when I am done and choose a stopping point. But thank you guys for listening. We're getting into real thick meat and potatoes here. The evidence will also show that Liggett just flat out lied about what he claimed Sarah Carbo told him in 2017 concerning a man walking down the road near the murder scene. Oh, this one's rich. This one's fucking rich. You guys, for Liggett's timeline to work, Liggett needed her to describe a man walking down the road wearing a blue jacket who had blood covering his clothing. However, in 2017, Sarah didn't say these things. No, 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 no. Liggett lied. Liggett misrepresented facts and witness testimony. However, this did not prevent him from affirming under oath, can we say RICO? That Sarah Carbo did say those things. In fact, what Sarah Carbo actually told Liggett in 2017, get ready, put your ears on, was that she observed a man walking down the road wearing a tan coat whose clothes were muddy. Remember the whole bullshit for 3 months of muddy and bloody, muddy and bloody, muddy and bloody? Oh, it's Richard Allen. Ruckus. Hey, dumbass. Dumbass Ruckus. Frank Meister. Tommy Frost. Marv. You guys remember that shit? Muddy Bloody? That you turned into Richard Allen? Sleuth Intuition? Muddy and Bloody. What happened to Muddy and Bloody in a blue jacket? Match it. What happened to Bridge Guy? Okay, listen. Bridge Guy's, what color is he wearing? Blue or black? Bridge Guy's in dark color. So you were alleging that we were looking at a muddy, bloody guy dressed like Richard Allen, dressed like Bridge Guy. This was supposed to be Richard Allen. However, what we got is a guy in a tan coat who's a little muddy and not bloody. So where'd you find that word bloody, Richard Allen? Liggett. Liggett. Where'd you find the word bloody? You put that word bloody in her mouth. You put that he was dressed like Bridge Guy in her mouth. So you're putting shit in the witnesses' mouths to get the guy that you want to throw under the bus for this? Let's back it up a little. Liggett affirmed under oath the following: that she described a man in a blue jacket whose clothes were muddy and bloody. However, what did she say to him? What did the witness say? What should he have said in that PCA? That she observed a man walking down the road wearing a tan coat whose clothes were muddy. Nowhere did she claim that the man she observed was wearing a blue coat. Nowhere did she claim that the man she observed was wearing bloody clothes. Nowhere. This truth about Sarah Carbo actually told Liggett, about what she told Liggett in 2017, blows up his timeline, which is likely the reason he failed to include this information in his affidavit. Additionally, the evidence will be presented in the body of this memorandum, which we will read later. That the defense believes strongly that this evidence strongly supports the contention that Liggett intentionally concealed evidence and lied about other evidence to Judge Diener in his affidavit for the search warrant. However, even if he did not intentionally conceal evidence from the judge or did not intentionally place false information into the search warrant, at a minimum, he behaved recklessly when he prepared the affidavit, omitting those facts from Judge Diener and providing false information in the affidavit. Oh, well, that's giving him the benefit of the doubt now, isn't it? That's really making an excuse for him outright misrepresenting the facts that he was given by this witness. All right, we're winding it down. This is evidence. I'm sorry, I'm not keeping up. I promised I would, but I'm trying. Evidence supporting the facts were needles in a giant haystack of discovery. Remember, guys, this all comes from discovery. This is not fantasy world made up, as Ruckus Rocks likes to say, and all these other douchebags. To conclude the introductory portion of this memorandum, the defense would tell the court that the evidence supporting these assertions or assertions contained throughout this memorandum was buried deep in a mountain of discovery. Thousands upon thousands of pages of paperwork and hundreds of hours of video, but not buried deep enough. The court will know at the conclusion of this memorandum that the defense is not inventing, Ruckus Rocks, fabricating, Dickie Smallballs, exaggerating, Sleuth Intuition, these facts, Frank Meister, no matter how crazy, who'd like to leave out Marv, those facts may appear, Tommy Frost. Richard Allen's defense team is attaching to this memorandum the supporting documentation that provides proof that these facts are true, and that's why we're glad we have these 136 pages, and that's why we're going to go over them. We're going to go over them over and over and over and over. We're not putting this down. You wanted to make this go away by colluding to perform a leak disaster scenario and set up the defense so that when the defense went away, this document would go away? Well, unfortunately for you, this document ain't going away. The memorandum will consist of 5 parts. Part 1 will be a description of the crime scene. Unfortunately, we have to bear through reading that. This description will provide important and necessary context that will allow the understanding for the rest of the memorandum, and will also provide insight into preposterous claim by Liggett that that one and only one person was responsible for these murders, even though McClellan said that there were other parties. This will be important as sheriff must claim that Richard Allen acted alone in order to dispel the massive evidentiary foundation that supports the likelihood that the pre-planned abduction and ritualistic murder of Abby and Libby required multiple Odinites in order to succeed, or at the very minimum, multiple individuals. I assume between 5 and 17. Part 2 will detail the evidence that connects Odinites to the murders. Liggett concealed this evidence from Diener when Liggett prepared and signed under oath his affidavit for a search warrant. You know, the one with the lies and the misrepresentations in it. This section is long, detailed, and factually dense. Remember those terms from the introduction. Factually dense. Fact dense. This is a fact dense situation. This is a fact dense document. This is a fact dense defense. And this is a fact dense channel. And I hope that when you get into my community page and you get into my old videos, you will fucking understand that you are looking at facts. And time will prove me correct, which is why the prof will have the staying power, and all of you other parasites will fall off with the next treatment, which will be called the trial of Richard Allen. One Richard Allen who will expose the entire corruption of Delphi, the entire batch of lying witnesses, the entire scheme exercised through social media of those close to the victims who has participated in this cover-up utilizing social media from February 12th, 2017 until this very day, today, February 4th, 2024. Social media is still in effect. And if you don't look at my channel and understand what I am showing you, something is wrong with you. At the beginning of Section 2, Defense Counsel has provided a Delphi murder infographic, a veritable visual representation of the major players mentioned in this memorandum, as well as a list of names and the relevance of those names found in the memorandum. These documents are offered as reference tools for assistance in unpacking these facts. Yeah, and I got some names for you too. We're about to look at them. Part 3 would detail the information that confirms that Tony Liggett concealed evidence in his search warrant affidavit concerning statements of Betsy Blair and fabricated statements in his search warrant affidavit concerning Sarah Carbo. Yes, he lied and misrepresented the facts. There was no There was no blue bridge guy dressed guy walking 300 that was muddy and bloody. No, no, no. There was a guy in a tan jacket who was muddy walking 300. Part 4 will consist of evidence that Odinite corrections officers in leadership have been positioned strategically, by the way, to watch, intimidate, guard, harass, abuse, threaten Richard Allen since at least April 2023. This section will also provide images of the patches worn by Robinson and Jones, as well as images taken from their Facebook pages, and we're going to see it all, and we already have seen it all. Part 5 will include information concerning how Allen became a patsy in this investigation 26 days before an election, conveniently timed, and announced on day 31, which was October 31st, an occult holiday for all intents and purposes. How odd is that? How many October 31st dates have been utilized in this entire 6 years of bullshit? This section will include information that Liggett failed to provide in his search warrant affidavit concerning the trustworthiness of Dan Doolin's so-called report. Part 5 will also address the complete lack of evidence that linked Richard Allen to the murders, including an analysis of the weak evidence that Liggett relied on in his affidavit, such as the vehicle that does not match Allen's vehicle. As he, meaning Liggett, attempted to persuade Judge Diener that evidence of the murders would be found in Richard Allen's home. And remember, what happened? They showed up to Allen's without a search warrant. Then what happened? They searched for hours until they found enough or found just some little tidbit that they could then produce a search warrant or have one signed or approved by the judge so that they could then do what was intended. That has not been missed by the people either. No, it has not. All right. In our next episode, we will begin the next part 1, the crime scene. For now, I'll take a look at the chat. We'll go into the chat and we'll have a little discussion here. Let's see who's in the chat. If you're watching, please hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. Please take your time to investigate my channel, watch other videos, do a deep dive into my community posts on both my main channel and my backup channel. And if you have not already subscribed to the backup channel, would everyone here please go subscribe to the backup channel, if you don't mind. Please go subscribe to the backup channel. You can find it in the description. It is the Prof True Crime. I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers on that backup channel. So if you would not mind, the channel is much more stable once we reach 500 subscribers. I have access to YouTube customer service, to super chats, and to appeals. So if you don't mind, take your moment now and hit the thumbs up, and then go to the backup channel and subscribe to the backup channel. Also, if you're not a member, we do special little videos and things for members. So we actually have a video that will be dropping any moment now. It may even be tonight. We have an explosive, incredible receipt-filled video that will be members only, that will be dropped tonight. So I'm so happy about that, and you're going to get to see some receipts regarding some things you want to know about. So we have a members only video coming tonight, as a matter of fact. So if you would like to subscribe to that backup channel and get me to 500 subs, and if you're interested in the members only videos, we'll have that. Also in the Discord, we just do a little friendly hangout. So if you'd like to join Discord, we have Discord. So yeah, for all of you who are new watchers or lurkers, Please join the chat. We'd love to say hi to all of you and discuss with all of you. You bring the gaslight, we get you the fuck out of here. That's how my chat works. That's why it's a nice chat. So we keep it nice in the chat. But yeah, so let's get into this chat. Speaking of, right, I'm going to go back quite a while in time. So, well, let's go backwards. Fuck it. No, let's go forwards. Fuck it. Let's see. All right, so we're going to back it up some. All right. All right. Let's find something here to kick us off with. Amy, welcome in, Amy. Everyone who's come in who I've not said hello to yet, I apologize. We were deep in the reading, and I have not even looked at the chat hardly. But welcome in, Amy. Thank you for the flowers. Welcome in, Laura. Thank you for coming in, Laura. We miss you. Welcome in, Rebecca Ann. Hey, Rebecca. Come on in, Rebecca Jojo. Hey, Jojo. Digital, welcome in. Digital, yeah. How can it be ignored? How can that, I mean, do you know what I mean? When this document introduces itself with the word fact dense, I mean, the word dense is the proper term in this scenario. It's dense. It's a lot. Screen setup. Yes, the timeline has always been wrong. All right, K West says, oh, and this doesn't mean I love Alan. It means we love the truth. Yeah, I'm not saying Alan is it didn't, here's what I say. Technically, Alan is innocent because he's not proven guilty. He has not had his due process. So technically, yes, he's innocent until proven guilty. But it's my belief he probably is involved in this scenario. Okay, I think he is involved in this crime in some way, possibly. But I have not seen any facts to indicate that. That is just a gut feeling. I'm still waiting on facts. Okay, we're all waiting on facts. All the bullshit that the Ruckus Rocks crowd want you to believe, and the Gray Hughes and the Sleuth Intuition, you know, they're spreading the Weber Garage narrative right now, and the motorcycle cover, and all kind of bullshit. It's just been it's a pile of, it's just like the PCA. What they are doing right now, narrative wise, on that incentivized side, they are creating a narrative to explain additional points that are not in this PCA, because they want you to believe that PCA, but they know it's bullshit. So they've crafted an additional narrative to pile onto that PCA, which is that Alan returned to the crime scene or to that area and somehow ended up in Weber's garage and dripped blood and ran over his motorcycle cover, just like he ran his tracks in it. They've got a whole, and he confessed allegedly, even though he only thing he's ever asking his attorneys is his wife and his family dead or alive. You know, I mean, what they want you to believe is the most asinine thing that I could ever imagine. And for them to claim to be smart, in the know, or former law enforcement is really laughable, especially considering the behavior, how they act, and the fact that they are absolutely wrong every single time. I'm sure you guys remember them saying that Baldwin and Rozzi are off permanently. It's over. It's a non-issue. It's not even worth discussing. Yeah, well, how you feel now? How does it feel to always be wrong? I don't know. I wouldn't know. Carol, what up, Carol? Okay. Carol, thank you for coming in. Rachel, thank you. Rochelle, thank you so much for the little super chat there. I don't know if you had a comment attached, but it's not showing. If you left a comment with that, I apologize for missing it. It may be a glitch in the software, but I do see that you gave me a super chat. So thank you so much, Rochelle. No DNA or electronic forensics. Nope. I have the one Bossy turned into court. Rochelle says, bring on the feds, please. Where have they been? This has been drawn out intentionally. Yeah, it's called corruption. We're going to look at a little graphic in a moment. Liggett needed a lie detector. Evaluation wonder if he's going to end up working with the DA like Steve, too. It's a cover-up. It is a cover-up. That's why we have questions for the family, because the family looks oddly bizarre. There's a lot of duping delight. There's a lot of suspicious behavior. There's a lot of inconsistency in all the stories. So, hey, when you say the truth, when you tell the truth, okay, if I were to tell you the truth right now about something, and it would be the absolute truth, do you think that truth would ever change? Would my story about it ever change if I give you a true fact? If you ask me something that I have the answer to and I give it to you and it's the truth, do you think that it would ever change? No, it wouldn't, because the truth is the truth. Oh, but if I give you a lie and a year or two later I don't remember, 3 later or 4 later I don't remember that lie, and you ask me for the truth and I give you my another lie, but that lie doesn't match the first lie, oh, then there's an inconsistency. And when we're seeing that time and time again with the family, and we're seeing very bizarre behavior over the years, we're seeing the colluding with YouTubers, despite a gag order in place. Okay, we're seeing the law enforcement pull shit like Liggett has. We're seeing Vito and Holman pull shit like they have. We're looking at ISP and we're looking at Toa Blesamy and Carroll County and we're saying, what in the fuck's going on over here? Because it looks like the entire thing is a cover-up. That's what it's looking like. The inconsistencies, the lies, the misrepresentations, the sheer aggression from the trolls. You know, what happens? We talk about this stuff. What happens? Trolls go crazy past 48 hours. Welcome, Precascent. You got conflicts in the FBI. Yeah. Yes, you do. Not everyone is bad everywhere. Not everyone in ISP is bad. Not everyone in FBI is bad. Just like on YouTube, we have the good and the bad. In this law enforcement, we have the good and the bad, and I guarantee you there's a battle happening. And the good guys are going to win. Sorry, guys, it's already over. We already won. This is spiritual warfare. This is information warfare, and this is a battle that is over before it began, because this is the way God works. All right, Amy says hello to everyone. Let me put this in. It's so cute. Thank you, Kay West, Rebecca, Rochelle, Lisa Marie, Carol, Deanna, Digital, Nancy Drew. Oh, I didn't see Nancy Drew in here yet. Welcome, Nancy Drew. Welcome, Bonnie, Precascent. All my people in here. Thank you so much for being here. There should be a public department of corruption. Yeah. Like the Sticks and Rafi's most recent posted borrow from Radar. I didn't see it yet, Kay West, but you know Radar. Radar's awesome. She's got lots of receipts. All right. Noe, please stop texting me. You're making a ruckus in my chat. I mean, in my stream. I can't read text while I'm on the stream. Let's see. A lot of people missed the sentence. Yes, a lot of people missed almost all of those sentences. I mean, that's why it's important to do a deep dive, because you can gloss over this and say it's bullshit, like Ruckus Rocks and the crew, Sleuth Intuition, Fig Solves, Lil Frankie, the whole fucking crowd, Frank Meister, Jamie Hicks, Tommy Frost, Jinx 13, Randy Gravett, Indie Archives, Anthony Greeno, Marv. You can go on and on and on, skimming over says bullshit, but read every sentence and tell me it's bullshit. All right. Welcome in, Aaron. Aaron. Welcome in, Aaron. Thank you for the comment. Susie joined late. Odinists in that area are also known as Vinlanders and American Guard. No, National Guard. Or is it American? No, it's National Alliance. National Alliance, Vinlanders. Sad Holder The one who frequently threatened to go after people mentioning his son. Yeah, Holder, whose son was literally sleeping with, allegedly, the victim. The Masonic Odinists. The white supremacist, Masonic, uh, Norse, pagan, wacko freaks living in their mother's basements, going play pretend in the woods. Who's on the terrorist watch list in this group? Which YouTubers on the terrorist? Do we have some YouTubers on the terrorist watch list? Do we have some trolls on the terrorist watch list? Oh, guess what? Yeah, we have some trolls on the terrorist watch list. I haven't disclosed that to you guys yet, but we've confirmed it. We've got some of the trolls who I will not name at this moment, but we'll show you receipts when the time comes. We have trolls on the terrorist watch list. You guys are going to love that one. YouTubers. We have YouTubers. Yeah, he mimicked the crime scene. Why are people so obsessed pointing out typos and trying to make it look like it was done with malicious intent? Everyone knows it's for, you're just reaching to justify your own actions. I don't know what you mean, Louise. For baby daddy, I get that. I was told yesterday my vagina has teeth by Jinx. Whoa, yeah. And Tommy Frost called you a Russian troll, or what do he call you? He called you Russian, Louise. Okay, let's see. Don't really don't know. No, did notice Joe calling your name and mentioning it the other night, but other than that, I didn't notice what was written or why he took offense. Oh yeah, Joe had some misunderstanding with Diamond Eyes. I don't know what it's about. I'm sorry about that, though, both of you, Joe and Diamond Eyes. Yeah, the law enforcement hid the actual evidence from the judge and lied about witness testimony in order to pile it on to the PCA against Allen. Facts. All right. I'm going through. I'm trying to just forward on through this so we can catch up. So are the Masons covering for the Odinists? So are the Masons covering for the Odinists? They are all Luciferian Brotherhood. Pedo ring activity too. Is that why they don't want the contents? They do not want you to know about the Dropbox. They do not want you to know about the white supremacists, and they do not want you to know about Flora. How do you people skirt around these facts to bang on about how Allen is a lone wolf fucking killer and he somehow accomplished all of that and left no evidence? Uh, and how do you explain, if that is true, how do you explain all the other shit we just read? How do you explain all of that? Did Frosty tell you he leaked the photos with Chris and Mark? Yeah, blood on the car. Blood on the car. Remember, blood on the car. Of course, he lied about what it was. Okay. All right. Rachel says, can you ask Jay to ask the spirit box if there is a Steve and what's his last name, and if there's a Dave, and where they throw something in the trees? All right. Wow, this is crazy. Alan will walk, and he should. The police didn't do their job. Stephanie Thompson and her 17-year-old daughter, Maya. as well as Agent Greg Ferenczi, who actually was a big part in investigating and authoring this Odin report. Did they assassinate Agent Greg Ferenczi because of producing this information? I hope Click is guarded. Yes, I do. Okay. I'm trying to catch up, guys. I apologize. It's very scary. And that post from the late Fortson, he was posting on Reddit about those suspicious circumstances. Yeah. And you know what else breaks the heart? He was ringing the phone off of Mark Cohen. Mark Robert Cohen's phone was blowing up with Fortson, both calling and texting and begging to talk to him. And what did Mark Robert Cohen do? He ignored it. And what happened? You got a dead guy who was begging you right before his death to please pick up the fucking phone. And you hung him out to dry, and he's dead now. And you want sympathy from us, dude? Justice for Robert Fortson. Robert Kyle Fortson. Rest in peace. We want justice for Fortson. We want justice for FBI agent Greg Ferenczi. We want justice. We want justice for Stephanie Thompson and her daughter. The very YouTube creators believing they were ahead of the curve while being steered by the very people on the inside lying and pulling the strings. So who's really the stupid ones? Oh, they're not stupid. They're controlled. They're controlled. All the content creators are saying there's no way they wore those patches. Yeah, well, it's documented. I mean, come on. And when it came out later, they said they needed more proof, not just the affidavit from the COs admitting they were wearing those patches. Yeah. And remember, no one told the facility or complained to Holman or the ISP or Carroll County about those patches. That was kept secret. All they did was mention that there was a possibility of Odinist involvement, and the patches disappeared. That's how quickly that word spread. Those patches disappeared right away under the table. All right. The trees near Wilson Bridge had target papers and bullets and probably arrow marks, and they removed the bark on quite a few trees. There were not runes that we found, Rachel, but there was all of that, the evidence of shooting. And I am highly concerned about that shooting in that area because it is my belief that the girls ended up in that area and that events may have transpired in that Wilson Bridge area in the exact spot that would be just beyond those targets. So, in the spot where stray bullets would have traveled is where I believe that certain events may have transpired regarding the Delphi murders. Okay, Jamel Hester comes in. Jamel, thank you for coming in. Hopefully, you're still watching. Uh, I've seen you around Facebook, and welcome into this channel. I'm glad to have you. All right. All right. This is the most important motion to me, no doubt. It's big. It's big. This is what they're going to do with the jury. They'll pick the non-intelligent ones only. It's okay. They're just going to pick from the local area, so there'll be plenty of those to go around. All of this is from the prosecution's evidence, from the detectives and the work of the detective, the work of the it's all the tips. I mean, this is all coming from discovery, obviously. Blessings Galore says, if Prof plays a recorded message from Ruckus, I will donate again. Shut the fuck up. Just go away. Pussy. Yeah, Ruckus, fuck off. Go abuse some other women. All the YouTubers covering this case because everyone has their own opinions. Okay. So that Ellie could use her as a witness to go in a new direction. I think he's a huge liar about a lot of things. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep on blazing through the chat, trying to catch up with you guys. Ruckus booted me from his Discord in June because I pointed out to him that Richard Allen contacted law enforcement when the girls were missing, according to the defense press release. Yes, he doesn't like facts. Rocky Cox is a drunk. We need a show like Big Brother consisting of Delphi YouTubers. No, they'll all be in jail, don't worry. Muddy and Bloody Girl had a few tickets and they said she would expunge the record if she said she saw him. But she didn't. She said she saw a guy in a tan jacket who was muddy. No Muddy and Bloody, no bridge guy. Well, you get it, Louise. Ruckus does know everything. That search warrant is going to be unable to be used. It was an illegal search. Yeah, and it was, he perjured himself. And are there legal consequences for what he did? We want Ruckus's clip. No, I got rid of those. I'm using a whole new platform, unfortunately. Pretty sure the obsessive trolls are also members. Good, because they'll see what I post. In the members only, I got some good shit coming. So hopefully they are members and they'll see the good shit. They appear in most of it. Ruckus cares about being right and being a bully. And others care about the truth. Yeah, that's us. The motorcycle theory is completely ridiculous. Welcome in again, Jermel. Thank you for chiming in. I hope you're still here. Yeah, I think it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. That's what they're coming up with now. Like I said, because if you only take the PCA where Liggett twisted the facts and lied, and you try to figure out how Richard Allen is guilty in the face of this 136-page document, you're left at a loss. So what did this troll farm have to do? They had to come up, this corrupt contingent had to come up with a whole new narrative of shit to pile onto the PCA to make it like it's something. And that includes the motorcycle shit and the drops of blood shit and the Richard Allen this and Richard Allen that and the Richard Allen this and Richard Allen did it all by himself and there's no one else except Richard Allen. Don't ever look at Gary Kurtz. Don't ever look at Ashley Garth. Don't ever look at Brad Holder. Don't ever look at Patrick Westfall or Johnny Messer. Don't ever look at anybody else except Richard Allen. Sleuth Intuition. Approved. And the giddiness. Yeah, remember Little Frankie and Little Figs? The little fig, the guy with the little figs. Little fig don't solve. Not only are they always colluding with Nick McClellan and Becky Patty, but also they alleged that getting the defense thrown off was a win. Getting the defense kicked off was such a great win, and getting the Carroll County Comet having the Carroll County Comet shut its doors was such a win because they didn't like the transparency. Well, getting the defense kicked off was not a win, Fig Solves and little Frankie, you guys with the little nuts, because they're not kicked off. They're back. And if you want to talk about gag orders and trying to have them disciplined with contempt of court for gag orders, well, I've just posted the gag order not too long ago, and we are aware that Becky Patty and possibly Anna Williams are in violation of the gag order because they absolutely are and never have stopped and have been the whole time um, communicating with YouTubers about the case and Facebookers about the case in violation of the gag orders uh, of the gag order. And that is clear, and there is evidence, which is why I can state it as a fact in your face. We have evidence, so you know law enforcement must. So if we're going to discuss contempt of court and gag orders, well, let's talk about the family. I've been asking the deception detective to go over the language offered by Kelsey and Becky concerning this case. Anybody else here watching the deception detective? Please drop a comment in his box. Yes, yes, I would love to see that. There's a wonderful. Uh, there are many videos of the parents of Dior Kunz. Okay, little baby Dior. There's a bunch of body language deception channels have studied those parents uh, whose language clearly indicates deception. Oh, just like the old Ramses from the Jean Benet Ramsey murder. Uh, Also, I believe guilty parents. Guilty parents, guilty family is something else. Guilty family is something else. They always show who they are. They have a very difficult time with masks. It's hard. It's really hard to fake grief, and it's hard to not exhibit the signs of deception and odd behaviors and inconsistencies and the lack of realism. I mean, it's almost always very obvious when family is lying. Yeah, and remember the clothes on the one victim, okay, did not match the clothes that the other victim supposedly had on that she is supposed to be dressed in. So you know what my opinion is, the prof's opinion is that whole story is bullshit. Those clothes came out of someone's trunk. Those clothes that that girl has on at the crime scene, they do not match with what either one of the girls was wearing. Leads me to believe that those clothes came out of someone's trunk at the cemetery and put on that girl. Funny how she reared her head again. Oh, Stank Hicks. Soon as young Frankie boy pops you, she's reactivated, apparently because people aren't buying the mainstream narrative and it pisses her off. Yeah, yeah. Oh, dumbass Hicks. Okay. Oh, they called you a Russian spy bot troll. You're a Russian spy bot, Luis. I haven't insulted Jinx, and I will not insult her appearance, but her actions are very hurtful. Well, don't worry, I'll do it for you. Okay. If Abby ends up wearing Libby's sweater, isn't a sweater missing? Yeah, but all those bullshit clothing, all those clothes came out of someone's trunk. Okay, now whose trunk did those clothes come out of? Oh, I have an idea. I'm not going to say anything. Maybe the one who for years and years went on and on and on and on and on and on and on, making a huge fucking deal out of the clothing. Maybe it's that one who knew that clothing came out of her trunk, she would have to explain why that clothing is on that girl, but she didn't know even what to say, blah, 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 blah. Why is there so much bullshit and so much energy and so much gaslighting and focus and big deal made about the clothes in the trunk? And now we find that the girl dead at the scene does not have the clothes on that either one of them had on. Thank you, Rachel. Hey, Marcel, welcome on in, Marcel. Thank you for coming in, Marcel. Sup? Listening while painting my walls in an uncertain shade of gray. Okay, lighter is better. Go lighter, Marcel. Always choose the lighter gray over the darker gray. Your vibes will thank you for it. Put a lot of white in it. Mix more white in it. Okay, start over, mix in a little more white, and you'll be happy. It's better to be closer to white than closer to black. You know Jinx Stinks is a narrative changer. She would go to prison for being at the crime scene. That's a crime to help move a corpse. Well, I don't know anything about that. CSAM, human trafficking, math manufacturing, trafficking money laundering through 501c3s, taking the money, churches, insurance fraud, real estate, ad infinitum, Ohio and the OH and the pew-pews. I don't know what OH means. I may be a little lost, but all I know is this. Everything you're saying, yes. Meth and human trafficking run that economy, okay? And the money laundering goes through 501c3s like GoFundMe, Mark Robert Cohen, the Flora 4 donation pathways, Buy Me a Coffee, Little Frankie, the Church in Flora, murderers, the Little Ballpark family. We'll talk about it further on into the future. The tunnels, there is a tunnel. It's not a tunnel, it's a culvert. Okay, the culvert that we believe is instrumental in this scenario at Wilson Bridge is the Wilson's Culvert, and you'll be learning more about that. All right. Oh yeah, K West says, yeah. Well, I did the Rocky Cox impression because I'm not playing the video. I don't have that clip in this app, so no more clips of the trolls. We just got the. I'll give you the impressions of the trolls. That'll be fun. Lil Fig didn't solve. Very fitting. No, he didn't. It only made sense for them to try and get rid of the local paper. Yeah, yeah, because they really hate transparency. And Debbie Lowe, thing about Debbie Lowe fucked their whole game up. You know, she was going to the meetings and recording them. She was writing about things in a middle ground perspective, not covering for the fucking local killers. Love the deception detective. Summer Wells' parents, yes, they do. Summer Wells, the Ramseys, the Patties, Little Dior's, Susan Smith. I mean, how many parents look that freaking guilty? 14% of all murders are committed by family directly. So imagine if family is involved in a situation, but doesn't directly do it, but is just involved, it's a higher percentage. So if the family did it, it's 14% likelihood. Okay. If the family is involved in some way, it's probably more like 75% likelihood that there's some involvement of family by 1 degree of separation or by knowledge of events. They want you to think it's 0.0005%, like it never happens, but it happens all the time. 14%, 14 to 15% on an average annual basis. 14 to 15% of all murders are committed by family members. Put in your pipe and smoke it. From day one, there's always been the sweatshirt story over and over and over. Oh, it came from the back seat. It came from the trunk. Oh, the sweaters. They had this. It was cold. I told them you got to put this on. It's always bullshit about the sweaters. And what do we find? Now we find a girl dressed in the clothes that no one had on. All right. Wow. What else was in that trunk? Yeah. What else was in that trunk? I don't know. So sorry for what telling the truth to the best of my ability. I'm sorry they've attacked you, Louise. They've attacked you because you tell the truth. That's why they attack all of us. You start to getting into like speaking things that are shunned, like speaking just what you obviously are seeing and thinking and feeling, and just discussing hypothetically what you are trying to piece together. They want to kill you. By the way, yeah, Greeno death threats. Okay, Greeno gave a death threat to Meow. Greeno threatened to show up at my house and deal with me. Uh, Not only has it already been sent to law enforcement, Greeno, but I'm saying and announcing it on this stream tonight, so there will be a record of it. Anything happens to me, Greeno, uh, it will be clear that you'll be prime suspect. Also, Little Meow, anything happened to Little Meow, you'll be prime suspect, such that you want to kill her. I'll be posting evidence of that at some point in the future. I think at first the idea was to blame the Odins, then maybe realized it would be safer to blame someone there who tried to report it or didn't see it. Okay. I love Deception Detective, but he really disappointed me with the Sammy Smith video. Oh well, I didn't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. Hi, Lisa. Thank you, Nancy Drew, for saying hi to Lisa. Hey, Lisa came in. Round of applause for Lisa. You're late to the party, sweetie. Good to see you, though. You're my favorite. You guys got to come in my Discord and light it up. We've been missing you. I've been missing all my girls in the Discord. You've been quiet lately. What happened with Discord? You guys quiet? Discord is pretty annoying, I know. Have you seen the article about a tunnel under the bridge? Yeah, it's old. It's just like the Wilson's Cave. All of these fucking trolls have been gaslighting, saying there's no caves, there's no caves, there's no caves, there's no tunnels, no caves. Well, I posted old photographs of Wilson's Cave for you. Wilson's Cave was between Logan's and Wilson Bridge. Okay, there was a cave with stalactites, stalagmites, the whole 9 yards, a cave between Logan's and Wilson's Bridge. We had four pits come in and say that when he canoe on the river on the Deer Creek, I mean, when four pits would canoe down Deer Creek, he said you do see caves. There are caves. We have tunnels, but the tunnel that I think has relevance here is called Wilson's Culvert. There's more than just that one, but the one that I am interested in is near Wilson's Bridge. Who is saying Jinx wasn't there? No, I say she was there. Jinx was there. So was her meth dealing boyfriend. At least that's what she has communicated to me in writing. And there is a reporter who says that Tommy Frost was there. And Greeno himself says that he was there, I believe at 2:14, maybe on the 14th is what he says. These are all their own words, not mine. I am just relaying to my audience what these individuals have already said. Okay. Family ties, absolutely. If Mears heard screams at 2:30 a.m., it could not have come from where the girls were found, and why not go look? They want to kill you if you talk. Greeno threatens life too. Yes, he does. Okay. I'm just trying to put you down because you're like PFP. What do you mean yes on video, Diamond Eyes? Who said what on video? I'd love to see that. But yeah, guys, we're going long, so let's start winding it down. Okay, so let's wind it down. I'll ask you all to start winding it down in the chat. Remember, please go over to my please go over to my backup channel. All right, subscribe to the backup channel. Please go subscribe to the backup channel right now. I'm trying to reach 500 subs. Please watch some of the videos and community. Take a look at the community post on both channels. I would advise you, if you're interested in any of this, I tend to divide my material between both channels. So if you go on to both channels, you will see that they're different community posts containing different relevant items. And there are different videos on some of the channels, but oftentimes I also post them on both. But please, I would ask you to go and subscribe to the backup channel, hit the thumbs up. If you'd like to give donations, we could use your help this month. You know what we've been going through this month. I talked about it. I would love your help if you are inclined to help in any of those ways. And also, if you're just a lurker, please just drop it in the chat. You know, you can help by participating in the chat and engaging in the chat, making it more viable. You know, make the chat pop, because it's good for everyone to communicate and share ideas. So if you're a lurker and you don't want to donate, you don't want to subscribe, you don't want to hit like, whatever, come on in and help out in the chat. The backup channel is called The Prof True Crime. And I wish one of my mods would drop it. If you could share, if one of my mods would share the backup channel here in the chat. But I have a backup channel called The Prof True Crime. You can find it in the description of any of my videos. And I have a Buy Me a Coffee if you want to donate, or a Cash App, or we have Super Chats. We have subscriptions. We have memberships. We have Discord, where you can just hang out for free and enjoy the nice Discord people. I have no clue. I was in Discord and Jinx tagged me saying what I stated about those individuals being involved in the leak where someone took their life and are still fucking around. Yeah. So we got someone who's lost their life, Robert Kyle Fortson. Rest in peace, Robert Kyle Fortson. These fuckers fucked around and we got a dead guy. And they won't take accountability, although everyone knows what happened. I mean, Mr. Ben Rector himself gave us a PCA for Mitchell Westerman that states exactly what happened. Okay? And all we know is, once it got to Mark Cohen, it went to YouTubers and podcasters, plural. Mark Cohen leaked to YouTubers and podcasters. Well, who are those? Well, you know, Tommy Frost, Ruckus Rocks, Rick Snay, the whole contingent. Everybody got those photos. Everybody got those photos. And what does law enforcement say? Robert Cohen leaked them to YouTubers and podcasters. Oh, who are podcasters? Murder Sheet? But they want to gaslight us and say, you cannot look or question Robert Cohen because his daughter is sick. Well, I feel very, very, very sad that his daughter would be sick, because no one wants a sick child. But you cannot hide behind the sick children, just like these fuckers cannot hide behind dead children. Okay, we got 6 dead children, and these fuckers are trying to hide behind those dead children for their own selfishness, for monetary gain. Can't hide behind dead children. Okay, you can't hide behind sick children, Robert Cohen. Tommy Frost, it ain't gonna work. I don't care how much of a good guy Ruckus Rock says he is. Robert Cohen is responsible for leaking to YouTubers and podcasters, according to Ben Rector, in crafting the PCA for Mr. Mitchell Westerman, who we're going to have the privilege of watching go to trial on a misdemeanor to bring us more facts about what actually happened and who was actually responsible for initiating this nuclear bomb on Mr. Richard Allen's defense called the leaks. Anyhow, guys, what I'd like to tell you is that I've expressed very clearly all my deal. You know, you got all your ways to support the channel and each other, whether it's free means of support, monetary support, emotional support, or subscribing to the backup channel and letting me get to 500 sub support. I would love that. That's going to make my day. We'll have a party here. Hopefully it'll be next week, but when we get to 500 subs, we'll have a 500 sub party. And yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, the lurkers are lurking. We got a couple trolls in the chat, but for most part, they're just watching. Oh, once again, okay. As far as Coach Kev, Ruckus Rocks, Jamie Hicks, Frank Meister, Ruckus, all the douchebags, Fig Solves, Jinx 13, Bossy, all you assholes. The fact that you watch my show for every single word that I say, because I notice I watched your show, and one thing I noticed watching your show, you guys obsess over everything. You're obsessed over the clothes I wear, the hairstyle I have, the glasses I wear, the cut on my lip, which is a cut, by the way, because I've been dehydrated because I'm on antibiotics. You obsess over every single word that I say, and which means you watch my entire show from beginning to end. And I want to thank you for that because, like at this moment, we have 78 viewers. Well, I bet you 15 of them are you assholes. So thank you for your viewership. You're giving me if I have 10 viewers watching for 2 hours, that's what, 20 hours. That's 20 hours you're giving me of view time. So all the things you want to do, you know, you want to fuck with me, you want to stalk and harass me. Hey, keep watching my channel. I appreciate it because you're helping my statistics and getting me up in the algorithm and helping me to be a voice to the people to help inform them about the reality of what's going on in this insane social media case known as the Delphi murders. If you would like to email me, my email address can be found on the About Me section of the YouTube page, but you must be on a computer to see it. You can find all of my funding, donation, contact pathways, and the links to the Discord, the links to the backup channel. You can find everything. I made sure that everything is there for you. I also have my preliminary version of the movie I have constructed for Delphi. It's scriptless at the moment, but I will be including some scripting into that movie. But if you go on my channel, look for a playlist called The Delphi Movies, The Murder. I'm sorry, The Delphi Murders, the movie. You'll be able to have a quick view at my preliminary pre-release of the movie in YouTube format as a playlist. And I made it enjoyable for you with my drone footage and photography and some relevant information. And again, like I said, tonight I'll release a members only video that will be sure to stimulate you, packed with receipts that will be shocking. So thank you everyone for hitting like, for participating in the channel, for listening to me read this document. And believe it or not, geez, what did we only get to 28 pages? We only got 27 pages covered. Okay, we covered only 27 pages. We will begin on page 28 on the next installment of the Delphi Murders, a deep dive into the Frank's Memorandum, aka the 136 pages, as I prefer to refer to it. All right. Well, with that said, I'll wind it down and I'll give the chat about 10-15 more minutes. If you got any last words or any final comments, drop them now before I get out of here. I want to read your comments. Let's see who we got here. We got Luis saying, if he's criticizing your appearance, he should look in a mirror. Oh, yeah, Tommy Frost. Yeah, well, what is he, overweight and needs a shave and a haircut and 2 pence? I don't know. I don't know. Tommy Frost is a fucking clown. All right. More than one Westfall, but his people probably means his group. Yeah, who is his people? Who is his people? Is it the Kokomo crew, meth dealing gang? I don't know. I don't know. We're dealing with a bunch of meth dealers. I mean, I know that much. And if when I say it and they laugh, they think it's a joke. But no, I mean, the people involved in the Delphi murders, in my opinion, were all meth dealers. You had a bunch of meth dealers gathering to cook or transact in the woods on Deer Creek, a known drug cooking and transacting spot. And my contention is that you had two girls who were interested in geocaching, and upon their journey to geocache in the woods, they stumbled into this meth situation, and they either saw something they shouldn't, they they may have been unintentionally abducted, victimized, injured. Who knows? I think they encountered this methy situation in the woods on Deer Creek. The result is that they're both dead, and we are talking about it 6 months later, and it's been covered up the entire time from before day one on the internet. It is the biggest social media case that has ever existed, and you are a part of it. Not only are you a viewer, you are a participant because this is ongoing. Everyone watching and everyone in the chat right now is a participant in the Delphi murders investigation of the largest social media case that will ever be known in the history of mankind. So, welcome. It was 3 days after Doug Carter's appearance on News Nation taunting the Delphi killer, Lisa. So, what did Lisa say that you're responding to? I don't know. Meth dealers and crackheads. Thank you, true crime skeptic. Thank you so much. Oh gosh, Louise, you're going off on Frost? Oh, okay. Yeah, we clearly have a troll in the chat. I'll deal with it after hours. So just ignore her. Okay, just ignore her. She's a little wretched little wench. And boy, did she look a hot mess. Did you? I'll leave it with this. I'll leave it with this. No, I didn't say I'm doing another live from Lisa Marie Presley. I said I'm dropping a members only video that is explosive and packed with receipts. You're going to want to read it. Uh, let's see. Do you made me forget what I was saying? She looked a hot mess yesterday. Okay, very sus. Do you know if KG was swimming for Delphi at the same time during her extraordinary life? There may have been competitors. I don't know what you mean. So new that made the account yesterday. Who was a hot mess? Oh, Stanks Janks. Yeah, she looked like she just got done wrestling or something. I mean, God damn, girl. You come in to talk shit, at least brush your hair, take care of yourself. You want to come talk shit on my appearance? I mean, look at you. Okay. But that's aside. That they all did. I mean, look at that crowd. That's what I'm saying. Like, poor guys. That was a failed attempt at a roasting session. All right, raise your hands in the chat. Who thinks it was a failed attempt at a roasting session? Failed attempt at a roasting session. Hands up in the chat. Hands up. Coach Kev, Jinx, Frank Meister, Ruckus, Fig, Tommy Frost, Bossy. Oh, you guys. That was a failed attempt at a roasting session. Coach Kev, it's not your persona, dude. Who put you up to that? It's not your persona. Like, you're a fucking goofball. Keep stalking me in my chat, bro. She just hit the pipe with those girls. Yeah, they probably did. All right, let's see. Return. You missed it. Oh, you didn't miss anything except if you want to look at some monkeys scratching their buttholes, go over to Coach Kev's channel and watch his attempted roasting session last night, where all they did was roast themselves. And yeah, it's a monkey butthole scratching session. You'll love it. You'll love it. Oh, look, we got another troll in the chat. They hung you and Joe out to dry. Oh, did they? Did they really? Yeah, what? By saying you can't talk about the family? Can't talk about the family. Is that right? Well, why not? Okay, why not? I mean, people talk about little Dior's parents all the time, right? And when Susan Smith's uh, when her kids were dead, she was on the news laughing and duping delight and whatnot, and people were talking about her. Was that okay? The Ramseys, if they're involved in the murder of their daughter, is it okay to discuss how they and their son behave so suspiciously? I mean, doesn't the Ramsey family behave like the most guilty suspect family you've ever seen? Okay. So we're not able to express an opinion that, hey, that family's behaving bizarrely. They act awfully guilty. What are they hiding? That's the question. All we're saying, we're not saying they killed anyone. We're saying they're behaving as if they're hiding something. What are they hiding? What are they hiding? Oh, but they hung us out to dry. No, they more so like they made themselves look like asses, like a bunch of stupid monkeys on a branch scratching their buttholes. That's what they looked like, and they also looked just like they all probably need some self care. But yeah, sure, Alex DeLarge. DeLarge, what? Yeah, I notice it's a whole fake account you got there. Goodbye, little bitch. Mm. All right. All right. All right, guys. Well, we'll be out of here. You guys wind it up. I'm ready to get out of here. Oh, well, I know who you are now. Now I know you're Tommy Frost. Alex DeLarge. Welcome, Thomas Frost, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Thomas Frost, because Thomas Frost has said this before to me in a comment. This channel is a slow motion train wreck. Well, and now we know it's Thomas. Welcome in, Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. Louise, look, your boyfriend. Okay. It's Thomas Frost. And Jinx in the chat under fake accounts. Instead of putting your energy into bullying. Yeah, they should do something productive like stop selling drugs and maybe become a creative contributor to the world and not a groveling hater because your life turned out to be nothing worthwhile because you didn't make it anything because you never stood up to any challenges. You took the easy way out and sat on the couch in the mom's basement playing video games and selling dope to the college kids next door. But that's a whole other situation. Uh, you don't have to be the murderer to know what happened, have guilty knowledge. That's what I'm saying about the family. It is my opinion at this point in time. I I don't believe that the family directly murdered these girls, but I believe they have knowledge and they're hiding it the whole time. 6 years now. Oh, Shack Attack. That's right. Cody, Derek, and the Shack. What is about Cody, Derek, and the Shack? Was Derek at a drug deal at the Shack when the girls walked into the situation and ended up dead? Was Cody there? Why can't we talk about Cody, Derek, or the Shack? We have questions. Why is that off limits, Mike, Patty? Why did you yell and scream with an attorney and demand to Hannah Shakespeare that that be off limits? I just want to know. Jinx said you look like a man. Oh, she must be looking in the mirror because I know you don't, Louise. I've seen you, and you don't. Okay. She should look at. Well, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay. All right, guys. So we're out of here. Thank you so much. Let's not roast the trolls because they're roasting themselves. That's what that whole show was about. It was them making themselves look like monkey ass, like Coach Kev especially. Like, here's the thing, dude. I knew it the whole time that you were a piece of shit, um, but I let it slide. But that's why I never contacted you or got in touch with you. But I love the fact that you've just come all out and stepped on out with it because you've made it absolutely clear to everyone what side of this you're on, and good. History will not smile upon you, sir. Yeah, why can't we talk about Cody? Why can't we talk about Derek? And more importantly, and most importantly, why can't we talk about the shack or the cabin or the shed or the hut? That's pretty odd. That's pretty odd. Oh, why would a shack? I could understand the people. You don't want me to talk. You don't want them to talk about your family, so don't talk about Cody. Don't talk about Derek. I get that, Mike Patty. But you know what I don't get, Mike Patty? Why can't we talk about the shack? And why did Josh Link, a known meth dealer, tell us that the girls were found dead in a cabin?